All right, joining us now, a key lawmaker who was in the House chamber for tonight's State of the Union address, Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw from the state of Texas. So your initial reaction to the speech?
Well, as you said, there was a lot of opening shots. And, I just wish one day that we would see the State of the Union as a State of the Union, because I could have read all that in a fundraising email from the Biden campaign about how terrible we are, about how we want to take away women's reproductive rights. I got it. You say it all the time. Not true, by the way. I'm not really sure what bill he's referring to from a Republican-led House that would do any of that. There's no bill to repeal the ACA. In fact, because I'm on the Health Subcommittee on E&C, I know exactly what we're doing on that committee. We're doing a lot of bipartisan, great stuff to improve people's health care. So there's some factual problems with it. But I think just from a strategy perspective, this is an election year. You're not winning over a single voter with that speech. And so maybe they switched the speeches. Maybe that was supposed to be the Democrat convention speech, and instead they put it in the State of the Union teleprompter, because it was divisive. It was an attack ad against Republicans, and I don't know how that wins you any friends when you're trying to win a general election.
Let's talk about one of the most important substantive issues. I know it's very important to you, and that's immigration. Listen to what the president said on that.
That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,300 more asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
You could see Senator Langford mouthing the words, "That's true." How do you think that's going to play, particularly given I know that you and some others are trying to find another way?
Yeah, for the audience, don't give up hope quite yet. There's still a chance here. But that aside, look, let's get some facts straight. In the president's FY24 budget request, he cut CBP by 10%, cut ICE funding by 15%. All right, we replenished that funding. Now he's asking for more in the supplemental. Great. There's not really a problem with Republicans on what that money is. Our problem is that it doesn't come with policy changes. And look, I applaud the efforts in the Senate to try and make those policy changes. Like I said, I'm not willing to give up on trying to find a solution on those policy changes. We need to. And I tell my fellow Republicans, like, look, this is the one time where Biden actually wants it. Now, he wants it for cynical reasons. He wants it because it helps him in his election. But you know what? If that's what it takes to stop illegal immigration, I'm all about it. You need a lot more than more immigration judges, though, to decrease that timeline. You need to actually stop the flow, which means you need to disincentivize people coming, which means, in his case, you need to stop paroling everybody. Okay, he's using loopholes in the law to parole way too many people, and that's what's causing this draw into the country. And it needs to stop.
Was it a mistake for Republicans to? I mean, he used it as a cudgel against your party tonight. I mean, was it a mistake to not just do something, even if it wasn't all of the things that you want?
Yeah, so politically speaking, I don't think Biden's in a good place here. He's still got depending on what poll you're looking at, between an 18 and 30% approval rating when it comes to immigration on the southern border. That's not good. People know that it's his fault. Like, two things can be true at once. Republicans should be trying to get new laws in place, but also Biden has done a lot to make the situation worse. I mean, it happened as soon as he took office, because he rescinded all of Trump's old policies, rescinded those executive orders, whether that's Remain in Mexico, whether that's the Northern Triangle asylum cooperation agreements. Those things were working. And then there was a signal sent by the Biden administration that people should just come in. It did happen.
I mean, they said, we have to correct the record. I mean, they literally said, do not come.
That's
the president said
that's fine, but actions speak louder than words.
The DHS secretary said that.
She whispered it into a microphone in a very awkward way. You are right. The czar went down once and said that. You are correct. But their policies said the exact opposite. Their policies were you're going to come in and you're going to get paroled. Heck, you can have a notice to appear in however many months. That's what the policies actually did, and that's the word that actually gets to immigrants when they come.
So what's the right word then, from your perspective, especially a guy from Texas who wants to get this done? Is it frustrated? Is it annoyed? That it is fair to say that this would have happened, and you're right, it took President Biden, maybe he's in office 1,100 days, 1,000 days when the negotiations started maybe. Took him that long to get started. But you did have a bill that would do a lot of things that you think are long overdue, and Donald Trump said stop it, and the Republicans agreed. That's fair, right?
I don't know that he said stop it. I don't know that he's on the record saying stop it. I will tell you, don't lose hope. There's a few good people, Democrats and Republicans. Don't lose hope that we can both beat Russia and get some decent reforms on the border. I am not losing hope on that. We have a very limited time frame to do it, but I'm not losing hope on that.